Veena madam, we are live.
A fabulous morning to all. I extend a very warm welcome to the speaker of the day, management, and all the invitees. I would like to quote, you can teach a student a lesson for a day, but if you can teach him to learn by creating curiosity, he will continue the learning process as long as he lives. By Clay P. Petford. I'm Veena Sunil, Academic Coordinator of Soundara Central School. Honored to be here as a moderator of this session. It's my privilege to take you through today's parent awareness session on the topic, how to guide your children to break up with their phones gadgets. It's a moment of extreme pleasure to welcome all the dignitaries. On behalf of the management, I'm extremely honored to welcome the speaker of the day, Dr. Sandhya C T, Founder, Director, Mindspace Counselling and Training Center, Bangalore. I extend my hearty welcome to Sri Soundarya P. Manjappa, Founder and Chairman of Soundarya Educational Trust. A very warm welcome to the backbone of our institutions, Mrs. Sunita P. Manjappa, Managing Director of SCT. It's a moment of extreme pleasure to welcome our CEO, Mr. Kirtan Kumar. A gracious welcome to Mrs. Pratiksha, Trustee Member. A very warm welcome to Dr. K. Mathai, the Director of Administration of Soundarya Institutions. A cordial welcome to our beloved Principal, Mrs. Renuka Devi, who is a guiding force to all the endeavors of Soundarya Central School. A pleasant welcome to all the academic coordinators, teachers, and the technical department of SES. Finally, a joyous welcome to the most important dignitaries of the day. Welcome, dear parents. Once again, a hearty and enthusiastic welcome to one and all. Dear parents, it's my pleasure to introduce the speaker of the day, Dr. Sandhya C T. She is the founder director of Mindspace Counselling and Training Center, Bangalore. Dr. Sandhya is driven by a passion for self-exploration, scientific learning, and understanding human behavior. She is a practicing counseling psychologist and life skills trainer. Dr. Sandhya holds a Bachelor of Dental Surgery and postgraduate degree in counseling psychology. Her certifications: Positive Parental Wellness Certification, Family and Couple Therapy, Diploma in Counseling Skills, Certification in Life Skills Training, Certification in Substance Use Disorders from NIMHANS, Certification in Student Counseling, in Cognitive Behavior Therapy, in Creative Play Therapy, Demystifying Sexuality, Certification in Clinical Research Associates. She has conducted more than 200 hours of training sessions for different corporate companies on life skills and social skills, coaching and mentoring young teachers, trainers, and counselors. Conducted training in Indo-Asian academic groups of institutions, Bangalore, on work-life balance and interpersonal skills. Conducted foster parents training in schools. Conducted individual personality development programs at Banjara Academy. Conducted workshops in schools and colleges about anger management, stress management, social skills, academic challenges, self-esteem, conflict resolution. Specialized in conducting de-addiction programs. Conducted several dental awareness camps and health education camps. Now, let me invite Dr. Sandhya to take over the session. Dear parents, before we start, I request you all to type concerns and questions in the YouTube chat box, which will be forwarded to the speaker during the question answer session. Sandhya ma'am, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Veena. Hi, good morning, everybody. A very warm welcome to the session, which we are talking about breakup. Okay, what is this breakup all about? Okay, I know many of you are wondering, this breakup is, when I was telling this to my son, he said, Mama, breakup from is so easy. Just pick the phone, take a hammer and hit on it. That's a breakup. I was just laughing at it. Is it so easy? Is it so easy? This is a question I've been asking for almost 7 years now, because it has not been easy for many of the people around, but it has been very well managed by many of the people. So let's understand why this subject was chosen, because Veena and I had a very big discussion, like, what to talk about, what is that we have to give it to the parents, because which is very important in the era after pandemic, because pandemic is the one which introduced our kids to mobile. In fact, we were buying them toys, right? We were buying them a lot of toys, but this was a time where we bought them mobile, which was like, if not pandemic, I'm sure many of the parents wouldn't have ever thought of buying a personal mobile to their kids. So pandemic drew us to a different stage. So we have to understand there is a personalized mobile with them, or personalized tab with them, a personalized laptop with them. So that gives them an ownership. When the children have their ownership, that they are very proud. They have a lot of it's mine. The feeling of it's mine is too high in them. So we need to. It's very difficult to break them from their own thing. So that's the reason I think Veena and we decided, let's go about breaking up with how the parents can guide, because see why it's very difficult for the children to break up from their internet addiction is, first thing, or internet use, or using lot of screen time, is because they are cognitively not ready. Their judgments are still not in place. It's so much of fun for them to sit in front of the gadget, isn't it? So what I want to ask is, how is the era now? Let me just ask you, initially, whenever you want to buy something, what you used to do, you had to go to the store, you had to pick up. But now it is not like that. You sit on your laptop or on your mobile and it is there. The sad part is, even though we don't know, the elders, the generation, my generation, okay, let me put it as my generation, don't know to tech, how to order. What we do is, generally we ask our children, hey, can you book this for me? So what are we doing? They are the children who are natives of digital era. That means they are born in the digital era. We are the migrants. We don't know about it. See, it's like how the natives are I'm somebody who is coming from outside the Bangalore. They are the people living in Bangalore. That means they know in and out of Bangalore. Similarly, digital era, they are the natives. We are the migrants. So they have more power and they have more knowledge over the mobile or whatever gadget is. What gadgets are, if I have to say, gadgets are like anything to do where you can see the screen. Let it be computer, let it be any gaming device, PS3, PS4, whatever it is, cell phones, even our televisions, and anything what we use. Even the smartphones have come, watches have come now. So all these are some things which are gadgets where they are connected to the internet, they are connected to the screen time. So it's very, very important to understand that how much we know to break up this habit. So I also want to know how many, in the from the parents in the Zoom, I want to know how many kids or parents have complained that kids have gained weight. Oh, they have become very lazy. They're also some people come and say they don't respond. They don't even listen to me. They're always on the headphones. And he's always moody. I don't understand. These are certain things which were always coming to my center. When parents come to their center, they always ask to my center. They always ask me this question, Ma'am, I don't know why my son has become like this. He was not like this earlier. I generally sit and take a peace of mind and just say, yeah, you tell me what are the changes you have seen in your son or in your daughter. They say these are the changes, and automatically he eats so much. I said, oh, is it? Why? I just give him food in front of him. It is because It was an online class. So what are you doing? You're just facilitating everything in front of a child where the child doesn't want even have to move anywhere. Because see, classes are important. I understand classes are definitely important. But don't you think there is a huge discipline which the child can have? Like take bath, wear a uniform, then finish it breakfast and come and sit, instead of you giving the breakfast in front of the in the system or the phone. So there is a lot of things which as a parent we are not aware of. So first thing what we have to do to break up is we need to wake up. My whole session is to understand how to wake up to break up. Because what is this wake up all about? If you have to ask me, now tell me how many of you are aware of how much your children use the screen time? Which is very, very key point in knowing how many people are actually aware of how many social medias they are in, what are the apps they use, what are the games they are using, what is the type of chat they use. Are we aware of it? If somebody in the audience can respond, I would be happy to know, like, how many of you know that? Even you can raise your like, just put a thumbs up or so, it would be easy for me. So what happens is, many of us, at least what I know is, what the survey says is, not many people know, because maybe this is the first generation the mobile is introduced to the family. So what happens is, ayo nambaralla, the easiest way to say is, I know, ayo I don't know, or maybe I don't know this. This is something not my cup of tea. But it's so important to be aware. It's so important to upgrade yourself, because if you have to know your children well, you need to know what are their friends with, who are their friends with. Now, what the research says, the complete whatever we do, the whole bunch of friends we can have is 150 people, like physically 150 people is the maximum which the research has been told you can have. But is that the same? Is that the same? It's not the same with the digital era, because I can see my son, who is just even not even 16 or 17, having 1,800 followers. 1,800 followers. What does that mean? That means he is so much there in the online platform. And do you think 1,800 are all his friends? They call themselves as friends because that's an Instagram. So they have so many friends in that. So they consider it as friends? Yes, they consider them as friends. Virtual friends are being real friends now. So it's important to know whom are they chatting with. What are they chatting with? It's very, very important to know, like, why it is important to know what are they chatting with, because there are a lot of alarms which you will ignore. So let me just tell you, there are four things which we need to learn when it comes to waking up. There are, first one is the behavioral change in your kids. Like, the behavioral change, I'll explain you what is this. Next is a physical change. Next is an emotional change. And then is an interpersonal change. These are the four things which I'm going to tell you why it is important. So before this, what I want to tell is, we all need to understand habit. So why do we have to understand habit? Because whatever you do, like even in the morning, if you're brushing your teeth, it's an habit. Like we divide it into good habit, bad habit, but habit is formed. How does the habit forms? Habits are formed because there is a clue in the morning. The morning when you get up, there is a clue that, yeah, oh my God, my mouth is stinking. I need to I need to brush my teeth. Then whenever there is a whenever there is a clue, there is a routine. What is the routine you set? Like, I go take my brush and brush my teeth. And what is the reward? You have a fresh mouth. Okay. Similarly, you need to know what is your kids' digital habits. Is your son or is your daughter or is your child, is it the first thing to do is get up with the alarm from the phone? check that. Are you a people who are, is he a person who is, or is he a person who wakes up and pick the phone? Is the person's phone just next to him? Like, is he grabbing the phone first thing in the morning and just checking the phone and then getting out of bed? Look at these clues. What is this? Is this habit formed? If this habit is formed, how do you break this habit is a very important thing to know. As a parent, it is very, very important if there is this habit which is formed. So how do you break this habit? One thing which I want to tell is, to break when the habit is formed, it takes almost 21 days for the habit to form. So what happens is, there is something called as, I'm just telling a little bit of brain science, how it works, because it's very important for you to understand, because otherwise you will not understand why breakup is difficult. Okay. The brain science says, like, whenever you have to form a habit, whatever, good, bad, ugly, or anything, you need to have a nervous connection, nerve synapses form. The nerve synapse forms. It takes the nerve synapse 21 days to form. Like, that is, the nerves comes together and a new ritual is formed. So what we call it as fire it to wire it. So if you have to make 21 days in habit routine, then what happens? The ritual will be formed. So there becomes an habit is going to be formed. So it's very, very important that we give them a correct 21 days to form an habit. 21 days is what we say, because that is what the chemical synapse take. But it may go up to some more time for many kids who are who are using digital diet a lot every day. If they are consuming a lot, the average use of in children, screen time is 9 hours. 9 hours a day. In 24 hours, if 9 hours is getting into digital space, imagine. I'm not talking with online class. I'm talking without online classes. Now, anyhow, we are offline, which is like, bingo. I'm so happy about it. I'm so happy about it. So 9 hours is almost like, 40 to 50% of the time, because, I just keep 8 hours of sleep, which is a must, though, which we are going to talk about sleep. So 8 hours is for this sleep. And again, 9 hours for this. And you have your 8 hours in school. Imagine what is the time left for them, isn't it? So it becomes very, very difficult for us to understand how to break this. When we have to break this habit, first thing is, you have to make a ritual. You have to sit with your kid and then talk to them. Is talking going to help? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Why sometimes no? Because they don't want to listen to you. They want to model you. You know what does modeling means? Modeling is they do as you do. They don't listen to you. Listening is something they will do, but they will follow your actions. You're somebody who is like, I'll just show you this action. I'm just using. Okay. Hey, don't use your screen, yeah. Please don't use. Always you're on mobile. How can that be possible? And you're on mobile. Is it going to make any sense to the child? It is not going to make any sense to the child, because you have not modeled your behavior. So whenever you're talking, set an example, keep it aside and just say, okay, I am going to help you to decrease your screen time. To know that, before you need to understand as a parent, what are those things which we are supposed to know. First, tell me, like this, we are supposed to know, like, is your child changing anyway? Is your child changing anyway? That is something very, very, very new. And I also want to tell parents one thing: never diagnose your kids or label your kids saying, this guy is always on phone. If a phone is there, there is nothing he needs. These are some very easy labels we have been using. Because what happens is, as you label them, they become more stronger doing it. They want to repeat it. So I would want you to be conscious parenting is what I would ask you to do. The conscious parenting is don't label them saying is, and also don't make it whenever there are somebody guest or somebody coming, don't make them feel very awkward in front of them. You're this guy, always on phone. Phone idre jeevnane bekilla. These are some words which are like, it's very easily used, which makes child feel very intimidated. They don't like it. So we need to be very conscious about what are our words, what are our choice, because child should be our first priority, nobody else. If you are a parent or if you are a teacher, who becomes a first priority is your child. So you cannot put them down in front of anybody. So what happens is in the age of 12 to 18, this is a preteen and tween and teenage. What happens, I want to tell you, is they're already in a very high, they have high hormones running in their age. So what happens is aggression is their behavior. They have a lot of aggression. They have a lot of they don't listen to you, because especially if they come into 13, 14, 15, 16, they are confused, because are they adults or they're young children? Are they they have no more that 10 years child where your mama used to want to come and cuddle with your mama, sit. They're not that, because now peers are their world. The whole world around them is their peers. That is their friends. So what happens is they want to mimic their friends. They want to belong to the group of friends. So if I have to say, you just take away gadgets from them, they're out of their friends, because that is where the 90% of the conversation happens to them. It doesn't happen over a phone call. It's not like, they pick, they talk. That is the last thing they would want to do. They are most text persons. They want to sit and text and text and text, because that is the mode of communication they like to have. So what I ask you is, don't label them first and foremost. And also you need to know before handing over the phone, if you have not done it, it's fine. We can do it now. Before handing over the phone, you should had a rule or had a strict discipline saying that what is the hour of phone. Because when school started, many parents online school started, because we had no other choice. Many people came and said, how hypocrite your parents are. This was the exact word I got to hear from a client who came to me, whose mother had come to me for internet issues, where the child was having this big eyes. You don't believe it was this big red eyes he had come with. So I said, what do you mean? You said, you never wanted us to use the mobile earlier. But now, because the online classes have started, because this is a way, I'm just mimicking what I say. Because the online classes you bought me a new phone. But earlier, you never. But now you want it. And you still want to take it back. You understand the power of ownership they are having in this dialogue? The dialogue was, I was like, okay. I understood that when a person is given an ownership of something, and this something is very, very powerful, and the tone was too different. The tone of the child was too different. So we need to understand before giving, if we have set a rule, that's the best thing to do. If we have not set a rule, this is a time for you to set a rule. So because we need to understand how much they're consuming, it's very, very important for us to do that. And also we have to understand the brain science. When I'm talking, there is something called as prefrontal cortex of our brain. That is this part of the brain is not developed in our kids. It develops from still 24 years. So this is a part of the brain which is helping us to make judgment, make decision, and also make right choices. Unfortunately, in our children, like what we are talking, 12 to 18 years, that is not developed. So they are really not in the place of making right judgment. They are like, they are very not very organized. Or maybe some kids, I'm not telling every kid, or many kids mimic their parents. So if the parents are like very organized, or parents are being very disciplined, then the kids are having, it's a learned behavior. But the cognitively, when they understand the brain, when the brain really starts understanding the judgment, it comes up to 20, 22, 23, 24. So it's a very challenging time for all of us. So can I share the screen, Veena?
Yes, Sandhya ma'am. Yes, you can.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Give me a minute. So what I was telling was this: don't diagnose the kids, because what happens the moment we diagnose, it's going to be very it's like, who are we to diagnose? Because we were responsible for them not to be there. As a parent, we were responsible for them not to be there, but we didn't do it. That's the reason we have to be very, very clear on not to diagnosing. So what happened, and other things which we have to understand is, dopamine is one of the neurotransmitter which we need to understand. What is dopamine? Dopamine is one of the transmitter which is an happy. It was called an happiness hormone, but actually now what we have understood is it is a seeker. It's a repetitive seeker of the dopamines. When you feed a screen to your brain, it is very happy. It's like, but it's like, when a child is given ice cream, what happens? It's very happy, right? But we know everyday ice cream is not good. So what we do, we have cut down the ice cream. But with the screen, it doesn't happen so. So with the screen, what happens is you give the screen every day. They take the screen without your knowledge. Lot of things happens like that. So it's very important for us to understand how much to give, how much not to give. So whenever the screen is not seen, this dopamine becomes very anxious, and it's like, it makes you feel like, go use it. It's like craving. That's what is the word I use. Craving starts, and even if you want to pull the phone, they will be looking for phone everywhere. If I have seen a kid, she uses everybody's phone from at home. There are 5 people in the family: father, mother, grandmother, grandfather, and she makes sure that her mother picks up her phone and keeps to herself. She makes sure that she uses her father's. She knows passwords of everybody. She uses her grandmother's. In fact, she has not even left her grandfathers and grandmothers, because the need is so, so important for him. It's the need to be on the screen is very, very important for them. So that's the reason why it is very difficult for them to leave that instrument and be present. So now let me tell you one more thing. So what happens? Like, what is the fun about it? So okay, as a teacher, I want to ask you, how much marks do you give? Like, if they study well, hard, and they write an exam, you would be giving them 80, or maybe like, however they write. Of course, however they write, that would be the best thing. But in a mobile, whatever game they are playing, what happens? If they fail once, they can redo it. They can go and redo it. If they are playing a game, it's like, oh, you lost. There comes a face like this. But you know what? There is an option about again redoing it and getting a star. There is a beautiful, great gift hamper which comes. Do you do that? We don't do that. Do we parents do that? We don't do that. The whole process for the children is reward. They are seeking that reward, and they are so happy about the reward. So we need to understand this science, because internet, whatever app they are using is run by behavioral scientists, psychologists. These are the people who are behind the app creation or behind the social media. Just imagine, I want you to try this, all of the parents at home. Just go and type something, type something as a search for cotton saris, or maybe you just type for toys, wooden toys, and just leave it. Once you're typing and leave it. There is a next moment, if you are in any of the medias, I have seen it myself, that every media will be showing you 100, at least some 20 sites which there are wooden toys or cotton saris. That means you are monitored every day. So is your child monitored every day. So because as an adult, we do understand how much time we can spend or how much information we can give to the internet. But kids are not. Our children are not yet equipped or empowered enough if you don't teach them about how the neuroscientists are working on your app, how much are they monitoring you, how is the algorithm, that's called as algorithm, where they monitor everything which happens in your. See, once you are online, there is nothing like privacy. There is no privacy. Everything is, whatever you have done in online is permanently there. That is something which you have to understand. So it's very important for us to tell our kids, there is something which is more, this online is just not about online. It's about many people are monitoring you, what's your next choice. In fact, if you're watching one movie actor in a one scene and you like button is pressed, there is 100, at least 10 to 15 like buttons. They're showing you videos of that person. Do you understand the amount of time that consumes? Why there is a huge time management problem with kids with screen time is because screen makes you hooked to stay there. That is where the problem with children are having huge problem with time management. And the issue is they are not realistic about the time, because they think I was just sitting. And they don't understand it is already 45 to 45 minutes to 1 hour, because this phone is so well designed that the moment you start you start watching something, there is no pause. There is next video coming. If you watch on a YouTube, there is no stop, because when you stop, your brain get a time to think. So there is no stop. What happens is it is it is continuous. And one or the other is going on coming. So what happens is children sit and watch, and there is a lot of fun because you don't have to do anything. This is called as law of least effort. Do you understand what is law of least effort? That means you are doing nothing, but you are getting all the pleasure on this earth, because your eyes are so happy. Your mind is so happy. There is a cartoon playing, or there is somebody singing, somebody dancing. And the next, you don't even have to press a button to change it, because that's again, see, whenever somebody has to, see, the advantage of a TV is if you don't have a remote, what you have to go and change the channel. But you will never do it. If you have to go and change the channel, I'm sure you will never go and do that. You will be seeing the same thing, or you will switch it off and go, because you will get bored. But in this, there is no choice. So internet itself is so powerful that they have made it so addictive to us. It's not just about children. I'm not talking about children. There are many parents in this own group who are listening, are being so, I'm telling, I'm not even using the word addiction here, because that's a bigger term. Addiction is one more bigger term. But what I'm using is the word overusage. You are being overly using unwantedly, where your time is just getting out of your control. So for this time to manage, what is that? What we can do is, as a parent, what we can do is, first thing is sit and talk. Can you sit and have a decent conversation with your children? So whenever you're having a conversation, make sure that none of you have your phone with you. Put it in an aeroplane mode and throw it. And by the way, my phone is in an aeroplane mode. Why? It's because that's a discipline I need to follow. I'm using it as an example because it's very important. So whenever you have a mobile, keep it in aeroplane mode or switch it off. It's okay. Nothing is going to happen in that half an hour, because the more value creation you are doing is sitting with your child to communicate. And that communication makes a lot of difference. And when you're communicating, one thing you have to understand is do a proper communication. There is no half communication. So you have to tell that child, we are working together. You are not alone in this journey of taking away, breaking up with your phone. I am there with you. I'm definitely there with you. And it is not only one parent. Please take a note. Of course, I understand the parents who are working, whose life is there for, who earn from from computers, or who are into software. I'm not telling them to take away that. I'm not telling them. But when you are making a conversation, you need to be present there with the child, because that makes a lot of difference to the child, because there are two people involved. And if is one parent is doing, take it from me, the other parent is not involved, the child is going to manipulate with the other parent to buy the screen time. So it's very important for both the parents. If you are a single parent, if you have somebody as a caregiver, Ajji, Ajja, grandfather, grandmother, whoever, involve them. Tell them to make a right disciplinary action. This is very, very, very important, to have a right discipline. So once you start having a communication with the child, you need to be very, very present there. So what is that you have to do? You know what, children, why are they happy about all these games, or why are they happy about the likes in the social media? Why are they happy about the chats? Because they have been connected there. Do you understand what is connection? The first thing what everybody in this universe of human beings need is connection. The connection is the key to be happy. I just imagine one person, if in a group of 12 or 10, if a person is isolated, the whole he or she may do a number of circus to be connected to that group. It's I had a client who was telling, he was being upgraded to a different class because he was a very, very good student. So he, from 8th, he was just promoted to 10th because he was extremely good at. But he was not able to stay in that. Though it was an upgrade, he was rewarded. He was not able to stay there because he was mixing the connection of his friends. So connection makes huge, huge difference. So what I'm asking you is, can you connect to your kids? Connection and Takshana, it's not about being there 24/7 watching them. That's the last thing one can do. That's the last thing one should do, because the moment you do that, they think you as an inspector, or they think you, what is wrong with them? It's like that. So don't be a cop there. What I would ask you is, be a friend. Be I would say, whatever it's been happening. So connection that comes from, how can you start an activity with the kid? First thing, there are certain changes which we need to do. The first change, what I also want to tell you, the physical signs which you can see when your kids are really using lot of screen time without your knowledge. See, there are one thing that you have to understand is, they are very smart. As I told you, they are tech natives, they are tech digital natives, so they know how to hide it. They know how to how to be not present. Their bathroom times, watch their bathroom times. It's very, very important. What I know is, I see teenagers showering for 1.5 hours. I'm not exaggerating. 1.5 hours. So do you understand what they are doing? They are on the commode, sitting with their mobile, chatting with somebody, or watching some anime, or watching any series, or watching anything, or maybe texting. So texting whom? This question is very, very important. Why it is important to understand whom they are texting. Because now, do we send our kids to any stranger's house? Do we? No, right? We don't send. Because, why don't we send? Because we are worried, because our child is not safe going to somebody stranger. But mobile or internet or the whole screen itself is full of strangers. When I say 1,700 children being friend or 1,700 people being friend, how much aware or conscious I should be, or as a parent you should be. Even 400 people, if there are in the friends list, you don't know who are there. You don't know who those people are. You also don't know what is their age. You don't know whether it is a male or a female talking to the child. You don't know whether it is from India or it is from America. You don't know anything about the strangers. When you know the person is when you're not ready to send a person when a child to a stranger's house, how can you leave it so empty without being watching? So it's very, very important for us. So some physical signs which I want to tell when they are using too much of screen is there is usually a headache. They come up with lot of eye burning sensation. I have an ophthalmologist as a friend. I was just discussing with her last week it was a discussion. I was just asking, what, Sandhya? She said, what her name is, Anu. I just said, what is it, Anu? She said, how much of myopia is increasing. Myopia is like nearsightedness, like, hatrat kanala. So what I said, how much? She said, when I was a doctor, I started, it was rarely 10%. Now I see it is around 60 to 70% kids are coming for me for myopia. So do you understand the short-sightedness, like the nearsightedness is becoming so much? And the dry skin, can you believe the dry skin was a problem of old age? People used to come with dry skin when they were old and there was no lubrication in their eyes. Because of the screen timing, what has happened is you just are, it's called as ocular lock, like this. There is no movement of the eye. Eye movement is not seen in your children. If you can observe that, they don't even wink their skin. I have a client whose winking capacity is so less. These are all very, very important sensory movements in our body. And that is what we are not doing it. That is, so dry eye is a cause, which is like, every time when there is a dry eye, they have to use a drop to moisturize the eye. Because of dry eye, there is itching, there is irritation, there is so many difficulties which is happening with our kids. So we need to be, and there is also something called as we need to understand with spectacles there is increase in the power every year, which we, if you do exercise or if you are like out of screen time, this is going to be very less. But it is happening. It's happening. So we need to be understanding that there is an eye, there is your headache, and also there is a complaint of lot of backache in the kid. Imagine the kids of 12 to 17, what I know as when I was in that age, I never complained of any pain. What I was doing was I used to play, and I used to be fine with that. I never had a problem with it. But that is not the same case with our children. They have a neck ache, backache, and I see people having finger pain. Do you understand why is the finger pain? That is how they type. The way they type is like, it's like aeroplane speed. They are like that. I didn't use rocket because there are people who do rocket speed also, but so much they are investing on it. So much. So what happens is when your body is not working, like, is not in sync with your emotions. What are the emotional changes you see? Kids are moody. If you see them, they're very, very moody. They don't want to play. They don't want to go outside. You call them for temple. They say, no, ma, I'm not going to come. If they ask them to come, let's go out, buy something. No, order online. Let's go eat outside. No, Swiggy it. No, get it in Zomato. So anything is like, you're just not wanting to, what I said, law of least effort. That is where they are in. They want to be in the law of least effort, which is like, they don't even want to move their body from one place to another place. Tell me what is going to happen if they're not moving their body. Obviously, they want to put on weight, right? So sedentary life, their weight goes on increasing, and once their weight goes on increasing, there is other issue, that is a body image issue which is going to come. Like, they see a lot of people who are thin, they are seeing some good dances which they can't do, and they become, their self-esteem, which is a prime important thing for them, lowers. When they don't like themselves, it is when they don't like their body, it is going to be very difficult. So it's very important for us as a parent to see these signs. See these signs. Where are they? How are they behaving? What are their actions? It's very, and also when they say moody, and the I think I should say this this era's word is Amma and bored. Appa and bored. Boredom. This is one of the, I think this is one of the most repeatedly used word with the kids. I have a younger kids at home, like who are 4 years and 3 years. They come and say it's boring. It's boring. I was like, thinking like, why is that boring? As a parent, what is that first thing you do? We are always like, I think because we are also parents who are very guilty. We feel responsible for our children's happiness. That is, I don't know why we have got that we are struck in that. Like, my child should not be bored. My child should be always happy. That's a wrong thing what we are doing. The moment they say bored, we are trying to rush around to get them something to play. But the best part of boredom, that's a first clue for their curiosity. If there is a boredom, that only means they have to learn how to manage their boredom. It's not that you are helping them with their boredom. So we need to understand boredom is a first sign to improve their curiosity. Why is curiosity so important? Because curiosity will help you to creativity. Creativity is very, very important in this era. Tell me why? Because everybody studies, everybody becomes a master, wants to have a master degree. Many of them, if I'm generalizing, many of them want to do that. But creativity, if you have a skill or creativity, that makes them stay apart. They will become better when they have a higher creativity. But what are we doing? The moment they say boredom, we are going to, I'm not saying everybody. Again, when I say we, I'm not generalizing. Many of the parents, let me put this as many of the parents are just giving their mobiles because it's easy. It's again for us the law of least effort. Because the child is sitting in one place. The child is not messing up with your vessels. The child is not asking for you to buy anything. So what happens is we are just making them sit in a space. Okay, there is a question which I want to just see. How do we? Okay, I am reading this. Totally agree with what ma'am is saying. As a parent, we set a rules for sure. But I suggest session in school with time. Okay, fine. Okay, there's somebody wants to. Okay, this is something. Okay, the one person is asking, is YouTube experiments okay? Of course, it's okay. But what I would want you is be there present when the child is doing the activity, because that is when you make connections with your child. It's very, very important. See, okay, let me just give you how to make a connection with your child. Start with your morning walks if you can. If you are a person who likes to be with your child, start a together morning walk. You not have to walk together, but the child can go to a park and play, but you are there around with the child without your mobile. That is one thing which you can do. Take to a temple and ask them. See, temple is not just about praying. Temple is about meeting people. Temple is about learning culture. temple is about learning the art. There are a lot of temple which has lot of dolls, like, beautiful dolls. Ask them to see that, and ask them to come and explain you what did they see. And also, if the pujari or whoever, if the priest is doing is telling a mantra or say, ask them, what did you learn from it? Like, it's important to build that connection. This connection has to go on. So, and also you have to understand, for people who have elder children, start with board games. Board games helps wonderful with your children, because board games are the games where there are rules, and people who are having rules, it's very important for them to follow rules. When the children follow rules, they also understand there is certain discipline in everything. So use board games, jigsaw puzzles, and also there is something called as jagga, which where where is lot of focus is involved, which is very, very less in attention span, is very less in children. So which is very important for, and also monitoring the sleep time. See, what happens is, each one of us sitting with our gadgets when there's a sleep time is one of the most dangerous things which is happening. Initially, we all were sleeping around 6 to 7 hours without any disturbance. Now, because of screen time, the sleep hours are very less. A child, if it's not able to sleep for 6 to 7 hours, in fact, 8 hours also, if you ask me, what happens is this: there is a hormone which is secreted called as melatonin. That hormone is the one which make you feel sleepy. Like, it says like it's time for you to come sleep. That happens when there is no blue screen around. Andre, what I mean to say is, like, when there is a light, when there is a daylight, this melatonin is off. When there is a night, the melatonin is on. So by around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, the melatonin starts saying, like, okay, it's night time, sleep. Okay, this is what is a general principle. But what happens, because we are using blue screen, melatonin is confused. Is it a day or is it a night? So the sleep itself is not calling them. So it's very important to, as a parent, to make sure the child switches off all its, even if it is studying online, switch it off at 9. Switch it off at 9 or 8:30, and you definitely have nothing is as precious as this. Because when I was doing the session, I had a lot of things which I could have done online. But what I did was, I always purchase a book, I read it, I make a notes from it, because that is a tool which is going to help you to become easy for you, to help you to become better. And also, I want you to stop all your it's not about the child. It is definitely not about the child. It's about you also. Can you switch off your TV by 9? I know it's very hard for people who watch at 10 o'clock a serial, but you need to compromise on this, because if you don't model it, they are not going to do it. So it's very, very important, because the moment the screen is off, it takes an hour for the child to go to sleep. Sleep deprivation is the most toxic thing which can happen to a person. And what I see is, children are sleeping just 5 hours. I've seen children who are just even sleeping 3 hours, because they were on online gaming, because they were on. Because see, and also one thing, never keep the phone charging next to their bed. Never, because change the phone charging area. If your child is below 17, please make sure that you take the charger from their room to shift to your room, which is very, very important, because they don't have that, because there are notifications which are coming, there are something coming, toy message, which will keep them disturbed from sleep. And also the screen will go puck, 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 so which is not healthy for any of the child's sleep. So if the person is sleeping well, he can focus well, he can concentrate well, he can memorize well. and there is a fresh day. So it becomes, initially, if people, the child find it very difficult, I don't mind you sleeping with them, read a book with them, or maybe see, some people are not well aware of what books or something. So what I would say is, this is one more tool which you can use. Some podcast, like podcast is where you can listen to something where you don't have to keep it next to you, far away, but something is on, because it's important that you be present. The connection is what they are craving for. Be present with the child. So this is very important. And once they learn the habit of that sleeping pattern, or once they get into the habit of detoxifying from the mobile, then it's going to be easy. And also make sure that all the notifications are off. Let it be WhatsApps, let it be Instagrams. There are two things which I want to tell is, when kids are on Instagram, I want all the parents to be on Instagram, to watch them who are they friends with, to watch them who are they tagging. Because I know it looks like policing, but it is not policing, because it is our responsibility as a parent to be watchful about what your child is to. So it's very, very important. Because, and also there are one thing which I also want to understand. There is something called a Snapchat. Again, Snapchat, Andre. What is Snapchat? I would not say, like, all of you like be there or something, but you need to understand what it is. If you don't know, there are so many people who don't know. So ask somebody who knows. Ask a teacher, or ask somebody who is tech savvy, or ask somebody who is about 25 years. What is this? What is the Snapchat about? What is this Instagram about? It's very important for us to understand. All the kids are not a Facebook friendly friends. I'm happy because Facebook is, again, one more thing which is lesser, but they have many other tools. There is a TikTok, there is also share chat. There are so many things which are there. So please be aware of it. Being aware is a key. If you are not aware, then it's not going to be okay. It's not definitely going to be okay for us. So it's very, very important. So, and also what I wanted to tell is, like, many people are very happy when the children say, like, you are asking a question and children say, like, I know that, I know that, I know that. So you are like, wow, nice, nice, nice. But they are having their mobile with them. So it's just in a fingertip. Every answer is in a fingertip for them. But if they can leave their mobile and ask it when they are not with the mobile, that is when their memories are working. All our internet, or our phone are helping them to build a short-term memory. But the long-term memory is really, really not happening. So all of them have an instant answer. But when you have to, they know all the small things about it. Like, if you ask what is biology, they know biology. If they ask them what is geometry, they know. But if you ask them to explain, they're not able to. That is something which you have to look at. So it's very, very important for you to have a proper understanding of it. So time management is one thing which I want to tell you. Like, time management is going to be difficult if you don't sit with them and talk. So what are you going to do when there's when you make a ritual with them? So come on, Sana, let's sit and let's make a thing. The first thing you have to do it in the morning. First thing you have to do is A, B, C, D, E. This is a rule. Just take it from me. A is for the first priority. The first thing for a child is, like, keeping yourself hygienic. Second thing is, like, having a good healthy meal. The first, as a student, the first top priority is finishing your studies, your homework. That will be your A. What will be your B? The B will be like something after that. That is like organizing your table, or keeping your table, communicating with your friends properly, or having a healthy meal or something. C comes, when it comes to C, what we are doing is, it's very nice. Like, it may be your TV time or anything. It is nice, but it's not very important. The third is something which is not important. You may do it or you may not do it. We have to be. And the D is delegate. You know what? The best part I have seen about is whenever you say like you want to go somewhere, they say, Amma, I'm going to go. Because, they know they want to escape from the first two things. That's the reason. And E is the last thing. E is eliminate. Eliminate is some things which you can eliminate is probably, I would say, the wrong, imagine the late night shows or the thing which hampers your sleep, or some things which you don't want to do, meeting people who are not okay with you. These are some things you can eliminate. So you need to have this A, B, C, D, E in your hand. So always A, B, C are the important priorities. So once they complete A, then focus on B. Once they complete B, then focus on C. D and E are something which you can definitely ignore. So these are some things I want to say. And there are some questions which I'll take now. My child always screams at me when I get her phone. What am I going to do? This is a very powerful question. Screams. Why does a child scream at you? That only means you have not made a right boundary. There is no right boundary, means you have not made a right rules to your child. See, I know it's now because the child has already started tantrum. That only means child is already using lot of screen time. The best thing is first converse. Second thing is you are an authority in the child. Child is not an authority. You have to be very clear and assertive. Do you understand what is assertive? Assertive is to be firm, yet you need to know when to say no and when to say yes. So if a child is screaming, that only means child is trying to be more powerful. So you need to set a rule that this is a screen time. See, 40 minutes of screen time is also more. Initially, it was said 40 minutes was okay. Because we are seeing a lot of neurological changes, we say 40 minutes is also more. You set a rule. I think if a child has been using a lot of screen now and you suddenly withdraw it, it's very difficult because we have to live in the age of technology. You can't just eliminate from them. So now it's a time for you to sit and talk with the child that I am going to give you a screen time of 1 hour. In that 1 hour, you have to be a very strict police. 1 hour under 1 hour. You cannot deviate. You have to set your alarm and you have to come and say, it's 1 hour, I'm going to take away the phone. The child will not be agreeing to give the phone. You have to make sure you are an authority and take away the phone. Initially, the child may feel sad, bad, and it may think that you are a bad mother. That let it be, because you are making a discipline in your child's life. And discipline is quite very, very important if you have to break up. So hope that is something which you have understood. How much TV time for a child? See, TV time child depends on what the content is. It's very important what the content is. If the content is something about, just imagine the content is something about learning, or content is something about debate, or content is something about singing, something which is good for your memory, then good for yourself, then I think I would say it's 1 to 1.5 hours still okay. But definitely not more than that. Definitely not more than that. So, which is something you have to be very, very, very clear with. But otherwise, it's going to be difficult because you are again not following the framework or the rule, which is very important. There is one more person.
So I have one more question here, ma'am.
Yeah.
Can I slap my child if he doesn't do what I ask?
Can I
slap my child if he doesn't do what I ask?
No form of physical abuse, emotional abuse can be done to any child. No, you cannot slap. I'm being very brutally honest. No, see, there is there is no tool there is a tool which you can use, that is having love, affection, being strict, being assertive, taking out their pleasure time. But slapping is not allowed, ma'am. Whoever has asked, please don't do that, because you are creating a child who is going to be aggressive and who is going to be hating you. Do you want that to happen to a child? You are a parent, and I'm sure you don't want that to happen, right? And even legally, you can't slap a child. Please don't do that. Yeah. Anything else?
Sandhya, since now it is examination time, can we get some tips how to improve the memory of our children?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. So memory of the child is it's a long process. There are two types of memory, which is short-term and long-term memory. Short-term is happening within within 10 minutes it is there and it stays. Long-term memory is the one which goes and stays. The best way to get memory is make your own habits about rules. Acronyms are something which I say, I'll just tell you, what are the acronyms I use is, I would say BATS. So here I'm using this called BATS for internet addiction. BATS in there. What does BATS mean is, B is for boredom. How do you manage your boredom? A is alternatives. How do you use other alternatives? T is time. How do you manage your time? And then S is your other smart way to use your connections, or smart way to be present with them. These are some things, acronyms, and something which is going to help a lot for kids. Just imagine if they are studying social. They don't remember social because there are a lot of dates, and there are a lot of dates. There are a lot of names. There are a lot of states. So what you can make them is, can you make a chart? Chart helps a lot, where while going and coming, if you can see the chart, it's going to help them. What I did was all the important dates, I made it in a sheet, A4 sheet, big sheet, and I was putting it in the study table. So it's like while going and coming, it's because everybody is not a date person, so it generally was very difficult. So, and also connecting the date with something important. See, if I say I am 1976 born, and there is something 1876, so I just say it was after before 100 years or after 100 years. These are some things which can be used for your memory. And also the best thing we need to know is repeating and reciting helps you to make your memory better. Reciting is repeatedly reading again and again. That helps you to keep your memory intact. And also repeating, writing it. Sometimes many of people write. If you are a person who writes, then that helps you to keep your memory stronger. Yeah.
Can I take up a next question, ma'am? How to guide children that some contents are not meant for their age in positive way, and teach them not to watch such things via internet?
Okay, this is a question which I was expecting, so I didn't add. So see, this is where we have to, sometimes what happens, I'll tell you one of the story which happened to me. I got a group of people who had watched something which was not irrelevant, something which was sexually connected video watched by 4, 5, 6, and 7-year-old kid. All of them sitting together. So what I did was, because parents were really paranoid, they said, "Ma'am, they are watching this, what to do?" I understand. First thing is, don't react, respond. Of course, what happens is, media is like that, where you can get everything there, everything. So you need to sit with them and just say, whatever you watched is not your age appropriate. First thing, you have to be very calm. One thing, because you show your anxiety, they will be fearful. So it's very important for you to sit and then tell them very clearly, whatever as you watch is not appropriate to your age. So I may not be able to explain you why is that, but that is something which is done by an adult, which is wrong and which it shouldn't have been posted. And that's a reason why I am asking you to not watch such things. Whenever such thing comes in the internet, I want you to delete it or switch it off and come and report to us is one thing. And also when such contents, you can use an parental guide apps in your system so that such contents are not being viewed by the by a kid. Is that something okay?
Yes, that is important. Parental guidance app should be there. That is going to help us a lot. The next
parental
question.
guidance, watching how to improve concentration. Yes, concentration. I would want to tell you one thing. If you decrease the screen time, concentration increases by itself. The screen time is taking lot of their energy, and the best part is if you want to improve concentration, use some meditation, which is going to be very helpful. Meditation is not about sitting like this. Meditation is about being present in that moment. What I ask you is, like, if you can get up in the morning ritual, it is, if you get up along with the child and say, okay, today we are meditating. What we are meditating is sitting for 10 minutes without disturbing our thoughts. Let anything come and go. It's fine. Like, it may be a chocolate coming, it may be a brush coming, anything comes and goes, it's fine. But we are sitting there for 10 minutes in a calmer way. This is what is going to improve your child's concentration. The other one techniques which I would give is, come sit with your child and ask them to observe 5 to 6 sounds which they can hear in the surrounding. But like in the morning when you get up, sit with them, and then you also sit with them. You tell me, I heard 10 sounds. How much did you hear? It will say the dog barking, the crow was there, and there was a motor running around, and there was something like, this small sound of a fan, or there is something, the BBMP corporation guy was taking the dustbin, he was coming. All this, it's important, because when their sensory becomes alert, the concentration improves by itself. So this is something which I could say for concentration. And also, if you can include music with your child, music would be great, a very, very useful tool. If a child is musically oriented, concentration improves by itself.
Okay, ma'am. There's one more concern here. I spent a lot of time with my daughter, but she is very possessive with me. Now, what shall I do?
Okay, so possessive is a nature because I think you are spending a good time with her. Probably it's very important. Possessive nature is going to be there still. They are 10, 11, 12. Once they get into that tweens or teens, I'm not sure she will be as possessive as she is today. But yes, check out if the child has enough friends. Check out if child has enough hobbies. Check out how much are you involved. Like, are you a person who is constantly, like, even in the bedroom, even in even when is food, are you there always? Don't be present always for your child. Your child doesn't need you always. Child need not need you always. Child needs you only to a certain extent. You give a food, you eat with that's fine. But it's not that you're there while cooking also the child is next to you. Don't make that habit, because then the independence of the child is not developed. Child should be very independent also. That's why. But if they are really in love with you, enjoy that love. Don't be concerned. But that is going to change. I don't know. That is definitely going to change if they make a better friends.
Yeah. Next question, ma'am. Mother spends time playing with kids and engaging with them, but still elders at home find that it is wrong and not being strict with them, especially when in-laws are there.
I understand this is mostly an Indian problem. What I ask you is, don't be bothered about what others say. You're spending a quality time with your kids. That is fine. Being strict, yes, you can be strict. See, strict is a very difficult thing because you know where you are strict at. You can't be strict everywhere. You need to be strict at where you have to be. Like proper study time, proper behavior, all these things you can be strict at, but you need to be also playful, joyful, because that is how they learn being happier, isn't it? And when it comes to elders asking questions, there is something called as ignore. Sometimes you need to know how to ignore it, or sometimes you need to stand for yourself, because it's very important to stand for yourself, saying that I know what I'm doing, I'm a parent. These words, I know it is hard, but this is how you can improve yourself too.
Thank you, Sandhya ma'am. Ma'am, next question is like one of our parents want to know, can you suggest some parental guidance app?
There are a lot of parental guidance app. First thing is, there is something called as commonsense.com, which I would like all of you to go. I probably I'll send it to Veena. Veena, I'll send it to you, which are the apps they can use. But commonsense.com is a very, very powerful it's a site. You can go and you can read everything about it. Like, what should I do when my child is too much? Okay. Also, what should I do when my child is talking to other kids and hiding the phone, or maybe having a suspicious behavior, or maybe what to do when my child has a problem with not studying, what to do when my child is not interested in any other activity. Lot of information is there in that site. So I would definitely want you to go and check that site, which is going to be very, very helpful for you. I will just, I can just, do you want me to type it in the chat box, the site?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will do that. Give me a minute.
Or you can send me later.
Yeah, that can be done. Yeah. Anything else?
The next concern is, girls are getting mature in early ages like 10 years or 9 years. Is this because of using mobiles?
Okay, it's correlated, but it is not just the mobile. See, it is correlated because the lifestyle. See, basically, why the early puberty is happening is only because the body is constantly still. It is not very active. So, if you can include the child in there, and also the food we eat is something which is very, very because we eat very nutritious, rich in fat food. And there is see, basically what you have to understand is, if you can make them physically very active, this is one thing you need not have to be worried about. And the aging, the maturity, the puberty is coming, is happening very end. I do agree. So what I would say is, keep the physical child physically active, keep the mobile time less. Healthy food, which is non-fat, can be given to kids, and also make sure that whatever age they are getting into the puberty, make them aware of what are the changes which are going to happen in their body, in their mind. This is something you have to put aware about. Yes, if it is naturally happening, you have no hold on it and no control on it. Acknowledge it, accept it, because that should not be one thing which you be worried about, because if you are worried about it, you are passing that worry to your child. So what I would say is, if it's coming naturally, you cannot stop it, but keeping them physically active, giving them healthy food, and making their life like more bending, all this aerobat, if you can make them through them dance and all, there will be physically slimmer and trimmer, so it becomes easier for them. And the puberty would take later, maybe 12 to 13 years, 2 years, but that's a natural process. That's something you need to be happy about. It's a natural process, and nobody can stop it, isn't it?
Okay. How can we balance between elder and younger one is silent and violent?
Okay. You are this question. What I understand is, if a person, if younger one is silent and violent, how can we balance
Elder
between
one is
elder and
silent, younger one is
okay?
violent.
Okay, so it's a sibling issue. What we are talking is, in sibling issue, one thing we have to understand is siblings will manage themselves very well until unless parents go in between them. So if a person is a very silent and the other person is violent, you need to understand the child, why the other child is violent. It's very important to know what is that which as a parent we are missing. Are we comparing, or are we giving more preference to the elder child, or are we are we not giving a proper attention to the child is something which you have to be very consciously watching about, because generally there will not be a violent behavior. Maybe there is an aggressive behavior, the child may be very extrovert, maybe somebody who is who want to playful, or maybe the child's nature itself is very being very playful. So that cannot be a violent behavior. We need to understand, is it violent, or is it like somebody who is very talkative? That can be there, because there is maybe the elder child is very introvert, soft, and the second child or the younger one is very talkative and an extrovert child. We need to be okay with that, because that is the nature of the personality. But violence in the form of hitting or hitting a child or abusing the other child should not be encouraged, and should be just a big no. Make a right rule to the whoever is doing, younger or elder, and make sure that this cannot happen. This, because you are an authority, and again now you have to stand for the child. Okay.
Any final takeaways from you?
Yeah, what I the
wanted to
thing
share wanted to share with us?
What I want to tell you guys is, see, there is nothing, we cannot escape from technology. We have to be with technology. There are a lot of professions which are coming because of YouTubers. There may be content writers, social media editors, there may be video makers. There are a lot of professions which are coming with this technology. So you cannot take away technology from your children, but we need to know how to balance it. That is the key in this parenting session. What I want to say is, I can tell 100 of wrong stories about technology. At the same time, I can tell thousands of good things about technology. So it is in our hand how to balance it. It's in our hand. The developing minds are not given, are not being unprotected in this. They have to be protected. They have to be we have to give them the right knowledge, and awareness has to be given. So as a parent, be equipped to learn more. This is a time where you have to upgrade yourself. I know many of the parents don't know, but there is nothing wrong in asking. Ask the people whom you think they are better than you. Or maybe if you're asking your children, there is a lot of things they may not be they may be upgrading themselves. They may be like, oh, my mom doesn't know anything. This, don't let them do that. Ask somebody else who's, read if you can, or also see the relevant websites, or more. commonsense.com is something which I told, relevant things where you can upgrade yourself, and also be present for your children. Nothing else matters. Even it's if I tell you, even your son today is watching 14 hours at screen time, I can tell you, with the tips which I've given, he will reduce it to 2 hours. So be present with them. Give them lot of love, and the rewards can be coming from making their good food, or rewards can coming from giving them a well pressed dress. Rewards can also come from taking them to the place where they want to. These are some things which you can reward them, and appreciate them for their smallest achievement. Don't leave them unappreciated, because that is what they are looking for in the internet. Somebody gives you a like button is nothing but an appreciation. So give them a right kind of warm appreciation, nurture them with a lot of your love and affection, and do it together as a father and a mother. Don't make this like, oh, your father is strict. Don't do that, because that has been done for generations. Your father is strict, you don't have to talk when your father. No, be a parent together, because that is the best thing which you can do. And the last thing which I want to tell is monitor your children's sleep very well, because sleep is the only thing which can keep them calm, which can help them to concentrate, which can help them to keep have attention and get good memory. Sleep is the most important thing, and make sure that they sleep for 6 to 7 hours a day. So this is what is, though this is a very, very vast subject. If I have to talk, I can talk for 4 to 5 hours about it. But I know we have to cut down somewhere. I think I've given you enough tips for you how to follow it. So the first thing which I would say is remove the charging point from the place. Ask your children to remove all the notifications from their app. Third thing is to make sure your 9 is their end of the screen time, even if it is exams. Even if it is exam, make sure hard copies are always with them whenever there is. Books are the best way to, because it helps you a lot, and introduce meditation in their daily routine. This is something I can say.
Yes, thank you, Sandhya, ma'am.
Thank you,
It was indeed a session with lots of takeaways, ma'am. And one thing I think people should remember, that internet or screen time or gadgets, that we don't have privacy anymore.
Yes.
We are permanently recorded. We are permanently there. So this is very much important that we should remember. Yes, thank you, Sandhya, ma'am. Dear parents, kindly fill up the feedback form, which will be shared in the chat box. On behalf of Soundara Central School, I immensely thank Dr. Sandhya for accepting my invitation to conduct the webinar. My heartfelt thanks to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Veena.
I thank our management and our CEO, Mr. Kirtan Kumar, for always taking up new adventures in the field of education. I thank our principal, Mrs. Renuka Devi, for all the support. I also thank the coordinators, teachers, and technical staff. Finally, I thank all the parents for participating enthusiastically and making the event a grand success. I would like to end with a quote. There are obviously two educations. One should teach us how to make a living, and the other, how to live, by James Adams. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, team.
Yeah, thank you.
The parents, you can fill up the feedback form, which is shared in the chat box.